Hello, so today I'm going to show you how I made some curtains for my kitchen with this gorgeous fabric. I bought it online ages ago for our curtains because we live in a cottage and the kitchen was like the thing I was most nervous about when we moved in because it looks a bit, there's potential for spiders everywhere. There's lots of dark little corners and the shelves are like really open and don't look very good. And it was like a project that I thought I'd try as someone who hasn't sewn a lot. I've done like literally one other project, but multiple times. Last year I got really into making drawstring bags, so I made a couple for my friends and I made a few like mini ones to start with and gave them to my partner, and she puts her like a sleeping eye mask in there. If you want a tutorial on that, let me know. Literally no skill whatsoever using my mother-in-law's sewing machine that I've stolen. So I was like, I'm gonna learn how to make curtains because it needed something in there because it wasn't looking good. It looks a little bit dank and not as pretty as the rest of the house. So we're like renting this house. We live in Wales. I've lived here for it'll be 2 years in like November or something. And we've lived in this specific house since September last year. So it was like a long time coming. And I've changed jobs recently. So I ended up with like a week off that I had a million things on my list and I bloody rapid fired them off. And this was on one of them and I did not expect to get so into it. I got so into it. I was addicted. I've been addicted to sewing. It feels so good. I've also been watching loads of what's her name? Her name's Carly. I can't remember her YouTube handle. She's like an Australian. There's a heron landing in the garden. Oh my god. Oh my god. Change. This video is now a bird watching. We're twitching. We're twitchers. Oh god. It was so... Oh my god. Look at it. It's beautiful. And a duck! And a duck to boot! Oh god, I hope the dog doesn't... Oh god, the heron is so majestic. What was I saying? I've been watching loads of YouTube, not loads, but like a few YouTube videos and of sewists and really enjoying the content. I find it very calming, very enjoyable just to have on in the background. And I was kind of like, it's going in there somewhere. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to learn some stuff. I don't know yet. I don't know if I've learned much, but I will say I got a few came across a few bumps on the way, and I think I was able to get a bit more creative with what I was doing, and I came up with some good options. So what I've got here is the test that I did initially. I did one test. To be honest, I didn't think it was a test. I thought it was perfect because I copied the Simple Curtains YouTube video, so I thought this will be it. It basically said to have, I think, 12 inches extra from the top to the bottom, I guess, so it's got some weight and you have enough room to put a pole through or whatever you end up using. And then an extra 4 inches of seam allowance. Oh no, it must only be extra 1 inch on each side because this hem is 1/2 inch. Guys, I'm sorry, this is really bad. I'll link the YouTube video that I initially used. I put it up and it didn't look good. I tried to talk about it with my partner. We were like, there needs to be more. This is basically the length of the shelf. But I didn't really realise how I wanted it to look. So it was really good to have a sample. Obviously, I didn't prepare for that. I just had a certain amount of fabric and that was it. Fortunately, it literally all fell into place and it worked out to be the exact amount I needed. And I realised I wanted more of a gathered effect, especially at the top. Like I thought that would look really pretty. So what I realised I needed to do is I needed more fabric in each piece. So basically I decided to like add some more inches. I kind of just guessed, and fortunately when I measured it all out, I happened to have enough of the right fabric. I think I put 2 extra inches on each panel. 2 of the panels were the same, 1 panel was slightly larger. So I just did, a bit of measuring and I was just like 2 inches seemed in my mind like a good amount. I don't know. So I started by measuring it out on the floor, very haphazardly, as you can see. I I should have hoovered the floor before I did this as well. I also have like my most ridiculous outfit on. I did not plan on vlogging this at all. I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna maybe film this for a bit of fun. Okay, so that scene's over. I've measured it all out into 3 panels that I needed, and it happened to be perfect. And then now I'm using fabric scissors to cut through the fabric. Again, very haphazardly. I've seen people kind of like having a rolly cutter on their table with like some kind of like safety thing underneath, which looks really fun. Maybe I'll get that, but that's probably not that good for straight lines. I don't know. This worked out fine, I think. I did struggle with sewing straight lines, so maybe that will be an issue later on. Anyway, that's one cut. And then I needed to iron them all. I have left the iron on all day. I felt a bit nervous about that. I think everyone kind of has the same anxiety with irons and straighteners, right? Like where you're like, oh my god, did I leave it on? And I did indeed leave it on, and right in the walkway, which wasn't the best. That must have been the bigger panel, surely. Oh, and here is all of the little pieces from my practice, my threads. I'm just going to have to get used to all of the threads. I don't really know how it works. Anyway, here now is where I do the correct measurements, I think. So I'm giving 1/2 inch of seam allowance. Oh, is it seam allowance? Is that what it's called when you cut it? See, I'm learning. I'm pinning down 1/2 inch, basically, because I need to sew down 1 inch in total. Right? Yes, that's correct. Guys, how the hell do people deal with these tape measures? I did not know what to do. I also, if you have any tips for how you're meant to measure what you're folding down, please let me know, because look at this. This isn't, it's a bloody mess. So yeah, I don't know if I'm doing this correctly. I managed to remember to put my pin cushion there, but can you see how wobbly this ironing board is? Oh, and I did a proper Kendall Jenner there with the way I was ironing that before, so I'm glad I've readjusted here. I was like, maybe if I'm using the iron with my right hand, I should put it on the right hand side of where I'm doing stuff. That would make sense, wouldn't it? But there we are. I've now learned that when I'm sewing on the table with the tripod on, it's going to make the camera shake. Didn't think about that before. But that's going through very nicely. I don't know anything about tension or sewing machines, so we're just learning it all together. And this is just the most satisfying thing in the world. Look at that. Meow. Going so fast. I kept stabbing my finger on the pins as well, which I don't know why I didn't learn. And also, doing this project made me realise I really need a portable pin cushion, like a pin cushion for my arm, because oh my god, I kept bloody leaving the pin cushion over by the iron and then leaving it at the sewing machine. It was just such an irritating thing. Okay, and now it's time for the big guns. It's time to fold 3 inches over, 3 inches again. And now that's a beautiful seam. Look at those sides. Oh my god, absolutely stunning work. Pins that in place. So this is the top section of the fabric, because at the bottom I want a thicker, heavier bit. From where I made my mistake before, I could see that it wasn't right. I got like a wire, quite an old-fashioned sort of like net curtain holder, and 2 hooks that I literally just twisted into the wood. So this is where I first tested it and realised that it was just too heavy. It was bunching up wrong. I didn't like how it looked. There was suddenly too much fabric, which was really frustrating when I'd purposefully gotten more fabric. I just couldn't make it look good, and it was really annoying. And you can tell by my face that I'm not happy, obviously. And that's where I realised I needed to make it shorter as well, because it was just too tall. It didn't have enough weight on the bottom, but at the same time it was sagging at the top. And then I thought, okay, I have an idea. What I'll do is I will make a smaller hole at the top, and then maybe it won't sag as much. So that's where I'm sewing in that extra thin sort of, maybe like 1/2 inch, to allow for the rod to go through, is what I initially thought it was, and then it ended up being even better. It was something else that I did, and it made it look awesome. The reason I don't have sound in this video is because I really cleverly was playing music out loud the whole time. So I've learned from making this video that I should play music through my headphones so that you can hear the lovely noises of the sewing machine going through, because I'm chatting away. Look at me, I'm busy chatting away in this video, and I'm like, oh, look here, I'm like, this is perfect, it fits in there perfectly. Still, I'm yet to realise that that is still a mistake in itself. I don't know why I thought that would work. It didn't work. But it inadvertently worked for something else later on. So I'll show you that in a sec. But what I first wanted to do, because it was suddenly too long and it was sagging, I thought I need to tackle that. So I wanted to make it shorter. So I essentially just folded them again, folded the bottom again and sewed that together really haphazardly. And then put that extra little seam at the top where the pole was going to go through. Then magically that allowed for there to be a ruffle that I'd made. It was a totally fluke thing, because I realised if I put the pole not through that thin bit at the top that I'd made space for it, but if I put it through the middle of that, suddenly I had a ruffle at the top, and I was like, oh my god. A problem I then had was I'd done the first panel, looked amazing, happy, so happy with that. Look at that, stunning, gorgeous, beautiful. I then couldn't twist in the hook into one part of the wood, and Daisy, my partner, who's also called Daisy, introduction, if you haven't listened to our podcast. By the way, we have a podcast, Doing the Maths. Go listen wherever you get your podcasts. It's on YouTube as well. She suggested that there could be a knot in the wood, and that was why I wasn't able to get in there. And it was really frustrating because there was very narrow space for you to twist your hands around, so it really hurt. Anyway, really annoying. So then I had to wait till the next day. Fortunately, Daisy's brother was coming around, and he's a carpenter, and he has all the tools, and so he brought a drill, and that meant that I just got on, made all of the fabric, did that whole thing, stayed up until fucking 10 that night. I was so focused. I loved it. We think I've probably got ADHD, standard, so I really hyperfixated on that and had a great time. I woke up really early thinking about it. I was dreaming about it. I'm in a bit of a come down since not making it, which is silly, but it is what it is. And that's probably why I'm making a video about it, which I've never done in my life. I just loved it so much making it, and I want to make more things. Yeah, so he drilled a hole in the other ones. I twisted it in, and just before we were about to eat dinner, I was like, I need to put them on now! So I put them on, and they look great. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like when you come through into the kitchen. They just look like they were there all along. So as you can see, it's like very old-fashioned. Ooh. Peep the mixer. They just look like they were there the whole time. I can't believe they weren't there before. I'm just so happy with them. So yeah, that's what I meant about how they're heavier at the bottom. They just hang a bit better. They seem to stop at the right place. They're not dragging on anything. And I don't know if you can see this seam at the top. That's where I sewed the extra seam for the pole to go through, and then it ended up being perfect for making just a gorgeous little ruffle. So overall, incredibly happy. And I can't believe they weren't there already. It's made such a difference. I can see them from the sofa in the living room, which, yeah, it makes a massive difference, and just makes the whole house a bit more cohesive. It's really cozy. I love it. So overall, 10 out of 10 would recommend, and we recommend you do the same. I hope I've shown you enough in this video of how to do it. If you have any specific questions, you can put them in the comments. I will try and answer them. But overall, I think this was quite a user-friendly, pretty easy thing to do. I had a bit of an idea of how to use a sewing machine, but really I hadn't done it since school. So it was, apart from when I made a couple of bags a few months ago, I really hadn't sewn since school, so it took a lot of reading the instructions, which I found really boring. And I had to do a lot of winding the bobbin, this time round, which I didn't like. But once I got it, I loved it. I was really proud of myself. It's just so satisfying, because I like knitting as well, but using a sewing machine, it's so cool because you get the satisfaction so quickly. Anyway, so if you know of someone that's got a sewing machine lying around, I definitely recommend just giving it a go and trying something, because rather than just buying one first, it's really fun thing to do. I loved it. So would recommend. Let me know what you think of the curtains. I think they look really cool. I'm really happy with them. Thank you so much for watching. This is my first kind of vlog or video or whatever. You can subscribe, I guess. I might do some more if you like it. It was pretty fun. And we live, like I said, in the countryside in Wales. There's lots of quite fun things that we do all the time. And I was just like, you know what, maybe I should be documenting it. I'm quite enjoying my life. And we have a dog. There could be dog content. Spinach is our dog. We also have a podcast, which I mentioned earlier on. So you're welcome to go subscribe to that. And that's at Doing the Maths, wherever you get your podcasts, and also like on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and on Instagram and on TikTok. Oh my god. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully see you soon.